how's your today? I hope you always stay healthy and always stay at home. Before we start our lesson, let me introduce myself. My name is Justina Araminta Erlin Chandraning Tias. And today, I'm going to be your teacher. Okay, last week we have learned about procedure text. Yes, right. What is procedure text, generic structure, language feature, and some characteristic of procedure text. And we have done an exercise. But we don't have a homework, right? I hope you still remember about this material and you can implement someday in your activity or in your classroom. Okay, so now we will start our lesson. Before I explain the material, I want to ask something. Have you ever read a book? Yeah, you have read a novel? What kind of novel? Romance? Horror? Oh god. Maybe anything else? Magazine? Maybe newspaper? Oh. Okay. I have a short story. I have a story. The story is about the beautiful garden. I will read for you. In a very hot weather and with a dense population, Mr. and Miss Charlie must live and struggle to meet the needs of their family. Mr. Charlie chose to leave the treasure he had from childhood to marry a kind, simple girl with a small body and white skin, while Mr. Charlie had a tall body and big body. However, they still live happily, even though they do not have a child. But, however, someday, Miss Charlie decided to adopt a child. Her name was Mary. They taking care of Mary with love, and they always obey what Mary wants. Mr. and Miss Charlie actually have a very large garden behind their house. They have the same hobby. The hobby is taking care of plants. They also make them always happy and harmonious. One morning, they invited Mary to come to the garden because at the time it would be spring, where the plants would grow very beautifully. However, Mary refused because she thought that caring for plants were boring. One sunny morning, because it was approaching spring, Rocky was eager to plan to welcome spring. A very beautiful day to have fun, said Rocky with enthusiasm. Rocky is Mary's brother. Rocky waked his sister, who was still asleep, to get up and enjoy the morning, which was considered very rare to be enjoyed. However, Mary still did not wake up and let her brother bother her. Almost every day he did this to his sister, to the point that Mary was very angry and wanted to get rid of her brother. Rocky can only cry because his sister treats him like that. Spring is getting closer. Rocky, Mr. and Miss Charlie always come to their garden to just pull the grass, water the plants, fertilize the plants, so they can grow perfectly. In addition, they also spend the afternoon until the evening only in the garden. Miss Charlie always brought a lunch and drink in their garden, so they did not go back for both of them. They laughed together, told funny things until Mr. Charlie realized that Mary had never been together with them. The next morning, he decided to come again to meet his sister in her room and wake her up. When he opened the door, he saw that Mary was preparing to leave her room and would enjoy a day outside the house. Rocky was surprised and delighted to see her sister, who changed. After getting ready, they went straight to the garden. There were already their parents waiting for Mary's arrival. Morning filled with excitement. Butterflies and bees seemed to celebrate the joy by flying around the garden. Spring finally arrived, and the garden became a very fertile and beautiful, with a variety of plants and variety of animals that show excitement as well. Mary, Rocky, Mr. and Miss Charlie were also happy for the result they had been doing. Okay, can you guess what will we learn today? Yeah, exactly. We will learn about narrative text. Narrative is the magic that makes a story. It shapes theme, impart wisdom, teach lesson, and hopefully entertain the reader. They take on many forms, like legend, fairy tale, myth, fable, adventure, folklore, and etc. Can you guess? Can you answer? What is the narrative text? Anyone who want to answer? Okay. Narrative text is a text or imaginary story that is used for amuse or entertain the reader, that lead the reader to crisis in the story and ultimately find a solution. So, a narrative is not the same as a story. A story is events that happen, and a narrative is about how that story is told. Where a story can be explained by synopsis, and a narrative gives us a full of picture. Now, how is the narrative text structured? A narrative text is made up of 4 main sections: orientation, complication, and resolution. First, orientation. The orientation sets the scene, mood, and introduces the character. Try to include when, where, who, and what in the section to explain the reader what the story is going to be about. The second is complication. A complication is when a problem disrupts the normal life of the character and sets off a sequence of interesting events. The complication in in the form of an obstacle, physical and emotional, that needs to be overcome, creates excitement for the reader of the story, and usually needs a response from the main character. And then the last, resolution. Resolution where the problem is resolved. This section will include a description of the final outcome or ending. Some writers like to include what is called coda to the end of their narrative. A coda underlines how the character has changed and what they learned as a result of the experience they went through. A coda is purely optional. Okay, next, there are 6 grammar and language conventional used. First, noun, to describe the particular people, animal, and things that raise in the story. And then adjective. Adjective to build the noun group to describe people, animal, things in the story. Then verb. Verb can be used to indicate what the characters are feeling, saying, and thinking. Adverb, used in conjunction with adverbial phrase to locate the particular incident or event. Connectives. Connectives use time connectives to show a sequence of events through time. And then the last, tense. Usually use past tense, except there is a dialogue, use present tense. Okay, and now I will mention 5 types of narrative text. There are fable, myth, legend, fiction, and fairy tale. First, fable is a story with a moral which the characters are animals that behaving like humans. For example, Rabbit and Turtle, The 3 Little Pigs, and etc. Second, myth is a story about superhuman being from an earlier age. For example, The Graying Stone. Third, legend is a story that unhistorical or unverifiable story that handed down by tradition from earlier times and popularly accepted as historical. For example, Tangkuban Perahu, Malin Kundang, Danau Toba, and etc. And then next, fiction. Fiction is a story about human imagination, not their reality, such as novel and short story. For example, Twilight Saga, Romeo and Juliet, Harry Potter, and so on. And then the last, fairy tale. Fairy tale, the story of human and their dealing with magical or unlogic, such as fairies, wizard, dragon, and etc. And for example, Mulan, Pinocchio, Beauty and the Beast, The Sleeping Beauty, and etc. Okay, now I have an example of narrative text, and the title is Alibaba. I will read for you. Once upon a time, there were 40 cruel thieves who put their stolen money and treasure in a cave. They went in the cave by saying, "Open the safe." To the cave entrance, a poor person named Alibaba saw them while they were doing that. So he heard the opening word. After they left, he went toward the cave and opened it. Suddenly, he found a very large quantity of money and golden treasures. He took some of it and went back home. After that, he became a rich man, and his brother wanted to know how he became rich. So, from the first paragraph, can you guess what the generic structure is it? Orientation, resolution, or complication? Yeah, that's right. The first paragraph is orientation. Ali Baba turned into the richest man in the village. His evil brother was really jealous of him and wanted to know how he could get such a lot of money. Therefore, when Ali Baba went to the cave again to take some more money, his brother followed him. He saw everything and decided to go back the next day to take some money from him for himself. The next morning, he found a lot of money in the cave, and he wanted to take all of them. Unfortunately, when he was busy carrying the money to his house, the thieves come. The boss of the thieves asked him how he knew about the cave. He told everything, but unluckily, they killed him and went to Ali Baba's house. After finding Ali Baba's house, they made a plan to kill him the following night. Some of the thieves hid in big jars, and the boss pretended that he was a merchant who wanted to sell the jar to Ali Baba. From the next paragraph, can you guess what is the generic structure? Yeah, that's right. It's about complication. Ali Baba, who was a kind man, invited the boss of the thief to have lunch together. After the lunch, they took a rest. Luckily, the housemaid went out of the house and found that there were thieves inside the jar. She finally boiled hot oil and poured it into the jar to kill all of them. The boss of the thieves was caught and put into prison. Ali Baba was saved from the danger, and he finally lived happily ever after with his mate, who became his wife shortly after. So, from the last paragraph, what do you think? What is the generic structure? Can you guess? Yeah, exactly. The last paragraph is the resolution or the reorientation. Now, we will do some exercise to shape your knowledge about the generic structure or the grammar of narrative text. The title is about the legend of Lake Toba. I want you to fill in the blank. We will discuss together, don't worry. There was a fisherman who blah 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 in Batak land. What is the answer? Yeah, that's right. Lived Batak land. His name was Batara Guru Sahala. When he was angry, he caught a fish. He was blah 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 to find that fish because the fish could talk and it begged to set it free. What is the answer? He was, surprised to find that fish because the fish could talk and it begged to set it free. He did accordingly. After getting free, the fish changed into a beautiful woman, and Sahala, blah blah blah, in love with her. What is the answer? Yeah, that's right. Sahala fell in love with her. Sahala asked her to marry him, and the woman rejected him. However, she asked his blah 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 not to tell anyone the secret that she was once a fish. What is the answer? Yeah, she asked his promise not to tell anyone the secret that she was once a fish. They were very happily married and got 2 daughters. It blah 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 a pity on Sahala. What is the answer? Yeah, good. It was a pity on Sahala. One day, when he got very angry with his daughters, he forgot his promise and he broke it. He told his daughters that they were the daughters of a fish. His wife could not forgive him. Suddenly, the earth, blah blah blah, to shake and volcanoes started to erupt. What is the answer? Good. The earth began to shake and volcanoes started its erupt. The earth cracked and formed a big hole. People say that the hole became Lake Toba. It's time to review. I hope you can shape your understanding, your knowledge about this material, about narrative text. Okay, do you still remember what is narrative text? Narrative text is a text or imaginary story for amuse or entertain the reader that lead the reader to crisis in the store and find a solution. A story and a narrative is different. Story is events that happen, and narrative is how that story is told. Story explained by synopsis, and narrative gives us all picture. Okay, and then what about the generic structure? There are 3 generic structure: orientation, complication, and resolution or reorientation. Orientation include when, where, who, and what in this section to explain to reader what the story is going to be about. And for the complication often in the form of an obstacle, physical or emotional, and usually needs a response from the main character. And for the resolution or reorientation where the problem is resolved. But some writers like to include a coda. A coda underlines how the character has changed and what their experience to be as a result based on their experience, what they learned, and coda is purely optional. And then there are 6 grammar and language conventional use. There are noun, adjective, verb, adverb, convention, and tense. For noun, to describe the people, animal, and things in the story. And noun adjective, to build the noun group to describe people, animal, things in the story. Verb can be used to indicate the characters are feeling, saying, or thinking. And adverbs. Adverbs with the adverbial phrase to locate of event and incident. Sorry for the mistakes. After the adverbs, there is connectives. Use time connectives to show a sequence of the particular event times. And then the last, event. Usually use past tense, except there is or there are dialogues in the text. Use present tense. So, we have 5 types of narrative text. First, fable, myth, legend, fiction, and fairy tale. For fable, it's a story with a moral, which the characters are animal that behaving like humans. Myth is a story about superhuman being of an earlier age. Legend is a story about unhistorical or unverifiable story that handed down by tradition from earlier times and popularly accepted as a historical. And for fiction, is a story about human imagination, not their reality, such as novel and short story. And then the last, fairy tale. Fairy tale, the story of humans and their dealing with magical or unlogic things, such as wizard, dragon, and fairies. Okay, I hope you guys can understand and can shape your knowledge about the material today, about narrative text. And now, I have a homework for you. I want you to write a narrative or story based on your imagination. The story can be free. You can write about what do you think, what do you want, that based on your imagination. And after you write, I want you to keep writing on your own narrative and let your family and your friend read over them for the feedback and advice directly. And when in the class next week, I want you to speak to share your story with your friends, I will call you one by one and come in front and speak louder and clearly so I can give you feedback and advice directly. And I hope you can improve your writing and speaking skill. Thank you for your attention and see you in the next meeting. Bye bye.